What information should you memorize prior to your green card interview? I'm Erick Widman. I'm an immigration lawyer, and a very common question that we attorneys get prior to a client going to her marriage-based green card interview is, what exactly should she memorize about her spouse? What other information about her case is necessary in order to successfully get through the interview and get a green card? Thankfully, you don't need to memorize a huge amount of information. For your green card interview, you really only need to focus on a couple key dates, and keep in mind that if you completely choke, you feel really nervous, that can also be okay. If you forget some of this key information or you misstate it originally because you forgot, I've seen situations where that all works out fine too. So overall, don't shoot yourself in the foot by being too nervous. You don't need to be nervous because you have a genuine relationship with your spouse. So some of the key data that you want to remember about your spouse, about your case, involves basic information about your special someone, about your spouse. So for example, your spouse's birth date is important to know. Also, it would be helpful to know when you got married, when you celebrate your anniversary. You might have a little kind of tricky situation in that you got legally married on one day and you had a formal ceremony where you went to a church or a mosque and you're celebrating your wedding on that date when you had the wedding celebration. Try to remember both those dates. But if you don't remember it exactly, that's okay too. All this information is in your forms. So do your best to remember, and officers will pick up on how well you know each other, how nervous you are, and the natural nervous laughter that follows when you're a little embarrassed when you forgot your spouse's birth date or the date of your anniversary. So do your best to remember those key dates, but it's okay if you forget. Also, a lot of my clients, a lot of green card applicants have been asked the question, oh, what are the names of your mother and father-in-law, your in-laws' names, and have you met them? And in one situation, a client only knew his mother-in-law's nickname. It was something like Boo Boo. That's all he had to offer. But that was actually helpful evidence to show that he was on a more casual first name basis with the mother-in-law. One other key date that is always a good one to keep in mind, and if possible, memorize, is the date of your last admission into the United States. And again, you might not get it perfectly, but do your best to remember that one, because that qualifies you for adjustment of status. You need to show that you entered with inspection and you had authorization to do so, and that you had an I-94 issued. So all those things flow from the date of your last admission into the US and your eligibility for a green card. Hopefully this is helpful. Let us know if you have any questions, and definitely take care.